All right, man. We all know that I'm a big proponent of digital marketing. So I think you can really be a big help to all of our viewers. Now, I know your focus is mid-tier companies, correct?
Yes, that is. But marketing is marketing. You've just got to identify the demographic and find a strategy on how to get in front of that said demographic. So yeah, it's the same thing.
How do you find that demographic? I think is where we'll start.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
So I think it goes you've got to kind of break it down. You've got to look into the data to see um it's kind of it seems like it's elementary, but it's really not. And if you kind of skip a step, then you kind of set yourself back, right? But you got to ask yourself questions like, okay, what does my customer look like? And I don't mean like a physical appearance, but I'm talking about like age. Is it are they male? Are they female? Um, what kind of money do they generate as far as annually? Are they around? Are they walk-in traffic? Are they digital? Like there's so many questions, like I said, you've got to ask to try and help identify who your customer is.
Yeah.
And then once you have that strong idea of, who that person is, it's the 80-20 rule pretty much. You have to figure out strategies on how to get in front of that said audience that you've identified is your strong base.
Yeah.
So um
Well, I think
again,
a
it
lot of
sounds
us,
elementary, but
yeah.
it's very tedious to try and
Yeah.
figure that out.
Well, I think a lot of us jump on social media and we just start putting content out with it, not the thought process of, I know as our company, we did in the beginning, right? And then we
Mm-hmm.
had to kind of drill it down and see, yeah, wait a second, we're so broad here. Let's be more effective with our marketing and really drill it down and find out who our client is and let's target them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that's exactly. People kind of get click happy. They just want to start clicking buttons. They've got something to share. They've got something to announce, what have you. If your business like a grand opening but it just doesn't start with. I mean, it starts with like creating an Instagram page or a Facebook page, and that's exciting stuff. But then how do you get said Instagram page or Facebook page to have people that follow your content,
Yeah.
And so um there's different methods, there's different ways. QR codes is really popular right now, especially post
It's back
pandemic.
again.
Huh?
QR codes are back again because I
Oh
know they've
yeah,
been using it
after
that way.
after the after the pandemic, you can't go into a restaurant right now without
Right.
having a
Using
QR
those.
code on the table.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're back, and it
Yeah.
it helps drive traffic,
Right.
and that's just one of the methods.
Sure. What is, in your opinion, right now, man? I'm going to throw you under the bus right now. So
Okay,
I want to get
great,
started early. What platform is the most important right now for marketing your business? Do you
great
think?
question. And again, I hate to sound redundant, but what is our audience? Like, is it
Oh,
millennials? Then we're gonna go TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat,
okay.
right? If it's more seasoned professionals, like you and I, that have been on this
Hey,
earth
now
for I,
you
I
didn't
said
have to do
seasoned. I
that.
didn't say I didn't say old. I said seasoned,
In
right?
a
So,
way.
so um, seasoned professionals or people of our age, they're
Right.
more like your Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram is kind of a big deal. LinkedIn, depending on are you B2B or you B2C, that sort of thing. So um, the great the the great thing about the whole, I guess, um, the idea is that there are outlets and platforms that you can get your message across no matter who your audience is, right? So there's no just set broad answer to your question that says, okay, boom, it's Facebook, Joe. No,
Yeah.
it's not. It can be, but
It's
it
where your
might
audience
not
is.
be depending on your audience.
Yeah. Our face. Somebody asked me this the other day, and I wasn't really sure because I knew you were coming on, so I waited to ask. was wanting to ask you this, the Facebook
I've
group.
been excited about coming on to the show. I've been
Appreciate
a fan of yours for a while, so
it.
I'm definitely a subscriber. So,
Thank you. I
you know,
appreciate it. I
yeah,
think all the subscribers I could get. Uh, is Facebook groups still a thing? It
yeah,
is.
they are. It really depends on who the admins are, like
Yeah.
how, because when you start a group, obviously the people in that group, the ideology behind it is that you want people that have like-minded philosophies or interests to join said group, right? And so, um, depending on how strong the admin is or how hands-on they are to try and make sure that the premise of the group stays the premise of the group and not get off topic or get off,
Yeah.
thread. Um, but yeah, Facebook groups are can
So
be a
powerful.
huge part of spreading the word for your company, for your business, offering, you know, um, offers for
Yeah.
your
Driving
business,
your exposure for your listings, or if you're in real estate, your business.
exactly,
And so, yeah, I think it works. What is
exactly.
your, let's talk about branding a little bit.
Oh,
And
yeah, I love it.
yeah, I think it's so important for a company, and I'm guilty of it. We launched a couple companies early on in our career. Our branding really wasn't front of mind. And,
Hmm.
you know, can you kind of walk us through the top 5 things that we should be looking at when we're out there? What should we make the most important top 5 things in our brand?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I just want to give you a shout out before I answer this question, because what you do as far as branding your company, right? It's simple enough, and it'll go into one of these top 5, but um, you make it simple and easy, which
Yeah.
is, I think, the biggest thing would be the number one would be accessibility. Like, how easy is it for the potential customer or client to find you?
Mhm.
Do they have to jump through hoops, or like you do, Joe Killinger? That's easy enough. You're looking for Joe, I just type in Joe Killinger and I find you, right? And you're across all platforms pretty much relatively the same way.
Yep.
That is essential. You don't want, I don't want to give a long answer, but you don't want, one way to get onto Instagram and people find you, but then it's not the same for a YouTube or a Snapchat or a TikTok, and then they will be turned off. What you want is a seamless synergy between all platforms, your
Mhm.
website, your social media, LinkedIn, whatever it is. You just want it to be simple and easy to remember, right?
And uniform
Because
across all platforms. Yeah.
yes,
Right.
uniform. The digital is like a business card. I think you and
Yeah.
I talked about this a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
off air, but digital now is a business card. When you would print 5,000 business cards back in the day, you would make sure that all 5,000, you proofed it before they ran the print, right? Because you were
Right.
going to
Yeah.
give out these cards
Yeah.
to 5,000 people. You invested in this branding, so to speak.
Yeah.
So digital is now your digital. It's a form of a business card
Yeah.
across millions of eyeballs that you don't have to physically be in front of. So why not make sure that your branding and your information across the board is correct as well?
And the
So
colors, again, to the color of everything that you're doing, keeping it all the same.
exactly.
Font, very important. So okay,
Yeah.
so number one is finding yourself. What's number two? Finding you.
Number two, clear cut message. Finding that demographic. Who you're servicing. What exactly do you service?
Yeah.
What are you providing? Right. So having the accessibility, having the services. Number three, would be, you know, I guess being true to yourself, and who you are as a brand, right? Because if your personality comes through in the brand, like you're playful, you're corporate, you're funny, you're, whatever the case is, if you can relay that in your ads, it will
Show some
help people
personality.
identify with your brand, right? Because
Yeah.
you are true to yourself. I want to be who I am, right? 6'10" marketing is based on my height. I'm 6'10", obviously, right? And so I am who
That's how
I
you
am.
came up with the name?
That's how I came up with the name. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Our mantra is why try to, fit in when you're meant to stand out. Right. And so it's really easy to stand out when you're 6'10".
Yeah.
And so, but I am who I am, and my company and my ideology reflects that. So I don't have to be Mr. Corporate all day because I'm not Mr. Corporate. I get things done, but that's not my personality. I like to have fun and I like to be creative, and that's what we do. And so it's easier to brand ourselves that way instead of trying to fake the funk, So
exactly.
So that was 3, right?
So
you're putting me on the spot now.
Yeah. That's why
4,
I have you on. Throw you under the bus, and we're going to get the information you're not thinking about. It's not pre-thought up.
No, it's definitely not. I did not see any of these questions in the in the prelim. So,
no.
So accessibility, true to the message, being true to yourself would be number 3. I guess, being set expectations, knowing your expectations, and I think that's a huge, just because you start a company doesn't mean that you're going to strike oil by digging 1 inch into the ground. It's
never that easy.
It's never that easy, right? So having realistic expectations of, hey, I'm going to have to fight and work for this. And if I stay true to my accessibility and my message and my, my brand, then it's going to eventually catch on and catch like a little cult following or start to gain some momentum. And so I would definitely having realistic expectations of what your company can do and achieve, and having, I think number 5 would be the goals, having clear-cut goals set for yourself internally and your team, and saying, okay, hey, well, in 1 year we want to do, $500,000 in revenue, or in year 2 with 3, let's talk about real estate with 3, you're in the commercial space, you're a broker, right? So having 3 commercial agents under your, in your school or under your broker house, realistically, we could set an expectation of this is the, the revenue or the ROI that we're going to achieve. So having clear-cut goals is definitely probably, if I could rearrange them, I would, not in any order, but those would be the top 5 things of how to brand yourself.
Yeah, I kind of think there's a number 6, and that's bringing value in everything you're doing.
Of course.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that. We just, I was guilty of it early on, and occasionally still, I just feel like I should do a post, and I post something up. I'm like, I don't know why. The next day I'm like, I don't know why I put that up. That really has brought nobody value. And so, you just get to where you think you need to do it, and you're better off not doing it.
Yeah, definitely taking, when you're kind of in control of your own brand, it can be, you can definitely have those moments, right? What I like to do is I like to, if I'm about to post something, I like to sit on it for like an hour or 2. Unless it's like breaking news or something, that I've thought about for a while, but I try not to let that emotional variable into play, because again, if you do have that emotional like rush of that excitement, then like you said, 2 hours later, you're like, was that a good thing?
Once the passion kind of fades, you're like, wait a second.
Oh my God, what did I just commit to? Like, now, how many people saw this?
Yeah, can I delete it and nobody's gonna remember?
Yeah, those are the best, when you delete it and it's like one person saw it. And it's like, it's like your wife or your mom.
Yeah,
like, okay, I can explain it to them later. But
How often do you look at your analytics? in all your social?
Honestly, it depends on are we just talking about social, or are we just talking about
Oh,
like Google
social, yeah.
Analytics for websites?
Yeah, all of it, I guess.
My team, so we would look at least something once a week.
Okay.
Because we don't burn out, for our clients, we don't burn them out. As far as social posting, I'm a big believer in, having a consistent drip
Yeah.
versus being a burnout, posting 4 or 5 times a day. I think after a while, your audience becomes callous to your message or to your brand, and they
Yeah.
just keep scrolling if you're not providing that value, like you said, right?
Yeah. It's
So
hard to do with that much.
if we consistently provide the value at a steady drip like morphine, then there's a that helps with the branding or the recognition,
Yeah.
so but we look at social analytics at least once a month, once a week. Google Analytics once a week
Yeah.
for sure. Like for all our websites that we
Right.
handle, we make sure that traffic is being driven. Where is the traffic coming from? Are there any broken links? Because Google Analytics can tell you that.
Seen
And
that.
and I don't know if your audience knows this, but Google Analytics is stepping up. They're upgrading to GA4, which is Google Analytics 4, and they're making the transition. So, it's been coming and Google's been announcing this, but GA4 is coming and they're going to do away with GA3.
Okay.
And for business owners, that might not sound like, something, but I would definitely get like a site audit if you have somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely recommend getting a site audit to see how this transition from GA3 to 4 is going to affect your website.
When is that going to happen?
It should happen by June.
Okay, so fairly
They've been
soon.
delaying it. They always say it's coming, it's coming. So
Right.
my team is telling me by late May, early June.
Okay.
So, but I could be wrong. Google, I wish I could tell Google what to do, but I don't. I just follow their rules, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody else. So,
yeah, it's about all you can do. How often do you update your SEO on your website?
we update it all the time. You have to. So, Google changes his algorithm on how sites are found. 2 or 3 times a day. It sucks, right? You just can't, look at it like this in layman's terms. A website is a website like it's like a parking lot in the mall,
Right.
right? And if you don't touch your website, you're that parking spot at the back where no one parks. Like
Right.
it's just an empty parking lot, right?
Right.
If you if you go in and you touch it and you update it and you make sure all the, for WordPress site plugins are up to date and things like that, content is rich. There's some long tail keywords, like just so much involved. Your meta tags. If you just kind of touch it, on a consistent basis, then you're moving your parking spot up to the front.
Right.
And that's where everybody wants to be, as close to the front as possible, right?
Sure.
And so that's just kind of a layman kind of analogy that we've used, and people seem to help. It helps
Absolutely.
people understand.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of businesses, and now they get their website, they build it, and then they don't touch their SEO again.
Yeah,
And I'm
they're in
like,
the
how often are you updating your SEO?
yeah,
I haven't.
yeah.
So it's
But
pretty amazing.
here's the thing: it goes back to that. That synergy across the board is one of the top 6 things that we were talking about. Like having your content say one thing on your website, but then having a Google My Business page that doesn't reflect or mirror that same content
Right.
from your website.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Then Google's not going to serve up your Google My Business listing when someone is looking in your area for said product or service, right? And so it's one of those things where you need to have all all content the same. It's that business card,
Yeah.
analogy. You got to have it the same.
I agree.
I
want to get your take. What do you think Chat GPT or any of these other AIs are
I
going to
love
do?
it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, we use it now. I actually took a seminar last week, like a continuing education course. It was a 5-day seminar. It was kind of like a masterclass type thing. And it was on how artificial intelligence is going to affect digital marketing agencies and the digital space in general. Right. And so, Chat GBT, we've been using for about a month now, incorporating it into it. It's not perfect by any means,
Right.
but it is a jump start. It's
evolving
like that.
quickly.
Yeah, it's like that 5 hour, those little 5 hour energy boosts that you can buy at the grocery store.
Sure, yeah.
So if you write the correct script in the beginning and the AI comes back with, a formulative response, then you can take that and add to that script. But what you're doing is you're accelerating that, it's that 5 hour boost to try and get to the, the ideal place where you want to be.
Well, you got to know how to ask it the right question.
Yes, in the script.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, that's something we're all going to have to figure out.
And AI people shouldn't be scared of AI. I know, growing up, there was that movie with Terminator, and Arnold Schwarzenegger would come back and it was the machines had taken over and he sent back to, destroy John Connor and whatever. AI is not like that. AI is, think of it like your phone. If you turn your phone off and then turn it back on again and you place it on the desk, and your phone is just AI. What can your phone do by sitting on that desk? It can't do anything, right? It's not until you pick it up, the user picks it up and then hits an app or sends a text or makes a phone call that the AI is now is working for you, just like your phone. Your phone is just a paperweight if you're not touching it, but if you're starting to use the AI, it is a tool. It is not a weapon. Does that make sense? So,
no, I get it. Now, there's somebody made a comment the other day that it's going to change SEO. Is there any way that's true?
Well, it's going to change I feel, and this is my opinion, it's going to change in two ways. One, how is Google going to effectively monitor and I guess, what is the word I'm looking for? Value the content on the web now? Because is it written by an AI source?
Right.
Or is it written by, people like ideologists or people, professionals or people that are, educated or, have some sort of knowledge to that subject, right? Like I could write a blog post right now, go on Chat GPT, and in 5 minutes, I could write a thesis or a summary, a snippet of a thesis on quantum physics.
Yeah.
Do I know anything about quantum physics? No, I'm in digital marketing and public relations, right?
Yeah.
But if I have the correct script in the beginning to start the tool, and what I want the tool to basically express within this little snippet, then it will write me a snippet. I could tell it, hey, I need 6 sentences on quantum physics and how it benefits the everyday man in the United States or in India or wherever in the world. Yeah. And it would give me 6 sentences. And then I could expand on that script and say, okay, well, but to go back to your question, if I took the end product and then just put it on a blog post on 610marketing.com, which you could go and visit at any point in time right now. But if I wanted to just put that as a blog post, how could Google essentially say, Chat GPT wrote that for Matt instead of Matt doing the knowledge and the work to research it.
Right.
So
unless their AI can somehow detect it, the language is too perfect.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Possibly. But the great thing about Chat GPT is it's that 5-hour boost, right?
Yeah.
So you go into a script and then you add on to that script and add on to that product, and then you get a final, and then you can go in and basically kind of, I don't know if anybody's used it on your, in your audience, but you can basically go in and then you can manipulate, you can kind of put it in your own words and that sort of thing. So
yeah. As I was
it's
just coming
definitely
in here, I was walking by one of our agents. I could see they were on Chat GPT, and I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I wanted to change up my call to action, so I put it in here, and it's giving me a bunch." And he goes,
Yeah.
"Let me through them in a little bit."
Yeah.
And so there's a use for it, and it's just
Yes.
how you utilize it. And he was just playing with it then. So
I was playing with it the first time I got it, and I was just like, I was like anybody else. Like, what's the, I was hearing this craze and what is it? So I went in and did a little research, and I wrote a script like, hey, tell me a story about a man that went fishing and he basically caught no fish for an entire day. And then I said, and I want you to tell me the story in how Dave Chappelle would say it. That was my script, basically.
Yeah.
And it was kind of spinning for a couple of seconds, and then it gave me like 7 paragraphs of the story. And it was exactly, if you read it out loud, it was exactly like how Dave Chappelle does his stand-up. It was hilarious. And so,
you got to remember, it just launched in November. So, I mean, publicly, so there's a lot to come with it. Well, Matt, I know we're running around getting close to 30 minutes here. I know you're a busy guy. So I'm going to put your contact information down below, yours and your company. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, and,
I would love for anybody in your audience. I would love to, if they get in touch with me and mention that they're a fan of the show or a subscriber to your show, I would love for my team, we would do a business audit, just like a digital audit, see what you got going on or where you can improve on SEO or social or whatever. So I would definitely love to. The audit is, complimentary to everybody that's a listener to your show. So yeah,
beautiful.
Would love to offer that.
All right. Well, I'll make sure your information's down below so they can reach out to you and get that free audit, because that's powerful. I mean, that's
610marketing.com. Exactly.
Oh, well, so you can find us.
Yeah, you can find us. You can find us everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
No TikTok? You're not doing dance videos yet?
Not doing TikTok. No, I don't. I'm 6'10". I don't fit in that little, so
just squeeze you in there.
I have no rhythm, Joe. No rhythm. So no, I don't. We can buy ad space on TikTok, but you're not going to get me on TikTok. So
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Oh, so we've got YouTube, and we've got like over 5 million views for our clients. So it's awesome.
We're going to post your social links.
Awesome.
So people have access to it. So, but thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing the audits for everybody. Appreciate it.
I would love to.
And we'll get you back on soon. For those of you watching, make sure you give us a like. And if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe.